முதல் முறையாக ஒரு தமிழ் யூடியூப் சேனலுக்கு ஒரு ஹாலிவுட் ஆக்டர், அதிலும் ஸ்குவிட் கேம் நடிகர் எக்ஸ்க்ளூசிவ் இன்டர்வியூ கொடுத்திருக்காரு நம்ம வாகை வனம் நேயர்களுக்காக. வாங்க பார்க்கலாம்.
You know, for my movies and other professional life in the West, yes, my name is Geoffrey Giuliano, but I also have an Indian name, which is Jagannatha. But the acting, like the Bhagavad Gita, you know, you do your duty, your dharma, not expecting the fruit of any reward, what you must do as Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So I, in fact, do my work as an actor, and I'm not bothered anticipating or looking for any kind of reward. And then I can go to Krishna Lok, Swar Lok, Brahma Lok, this Lok, that Lok. I'm ready to go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Your life will be sublime. So, and I am very delighted to be a devotee of Krishna. I always play the bad guy. Always. I've never played a good guy. The director saw me in Peninsula and cast me into Squid Game. I didn't know it was going to be a hit. In fact, I had some clues, like they paid me a large amount of money. You know, when you take your clothes off in the scene and you're naked. I said, no, I don't know about that. What are you talking about? And they said, have you read the script? You know, the mother, India. You know, this is where we all, this is the portal from heaven. India is the portal of heaven. And I'm always, show India your haircut.
Oh, see? Look at that.
Yeah, it's got the Sika. Okay,
oh my.
The widows of West Bengal, after the husband dies, are often booted out of the house. All of their things are taken, and the sons are just cold to them, and sometimes they just throw them into the street.
Hello, everyone. This is BG Doraiswamy. I'm the guest anchor for this episode of Vagai Vanam. And joining me here is Hollywood actor, radio personality, and author Geoffrey Giuliano. And he is more popularly known for his recent role as VIP4 in the smash hit Korean drama series on Netflix, The Squid Game. So, Jeff, we're very happy to have you with us today. And
thank you very much. You know, for my movies and other professional life in the West, yes, my name is Geoffrey Giuliano, but I also have an Indian name, which is Jagannatha, which was given to me by my spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, which we'll talk about, I'm sure.
That is interesting and also easily relatable to our Indian audience. Sure. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about your journey into Bollywood? And what took you to Bangalore?
Bollywood, not Bollywood. You said Bollywood.
I did, didn't I?
Okay. I don't know anything about Bollywood.
Oh, my. Maybe someday you might get into Bollywood.
Okay, I'll tell you. When I was a little tiny boy, I used to do shows. I used to hide behind the sofa, and then I do puppet shows or pop up and play little different characters. I used to speak in funny voices I learned from the cartoons. And so I'm a natural born actor. And then I did something that I don't think people can really do anymore. I got classically trained. I did everything. I worked at TV stations for free. I did dinner theater. I got a master's degree in acting and directing. Did a lot of Shakespeare. Did tons of theater. I worked in the theater from the age of 12 on. I made my first film in 2006 because I got sidetracked. In 1984, I wrote a book in the Beatles, and it became a worldwide smash hit. It wasn't really where my heart was. My heart was always as an actor. In fact, I often tell people that living in the world of cinema, I can be myself and I feel very comfortable. It's reality. I am I'm monkish about my acting. I'm ascetic about my acting. This is not some kind of show business crap where I'm trying to be any kind of movie star. Sometimes I kind of veer in that direction. Oftentimes I don't. But the acting, like the Bhagavad Gita, you know, you do your duty, your dharma, not expecting the fruit of any reward, but rather because that is your duty, what you must do, as Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So I, in fact, do my work as an actor, and I'm not bothered anticipating or looking for any kind of reward from that. The acting itself, the performance itself is the reward.
I heard you make a lot of references to the Bhagavad Gita, and you mentioned having an Indian name, Jagannatha. So maybe it's worthwhile to mention to our viewers how your journey started. And you're, of course, an ardent devotee of the Krishna, Lord Krishna, and ISKCON. So tell us about.
I'm over 60 years old, quite a bit over 60 years old. Here are the priorities in my life. My 14-year-old son's welfare. Now and when I'm gone. My spiritual life and my acting. Now, why don't I put Bhagavan Sri Krishna first? Because if right now Srila Prabhupada appeared from Krishna Lok and said, Jagannath, we want to take you there. I said, oh, I'm so sorry, I cannot. I have to take care of my son. And all the time, if I went with him, I'd be worrying, what about my son? Is he okay? What's going on? Is he going to get into drugs? Will he get in a motorcycle accident? Will people cheat him? You know, so my first priority, I'm very much afraid to die because I then can't care for my son, you know? So I must live long enough so he's okay. And then I can go to Krishna Lok, Swar Lok, Brahma Lok, this Lok, that Lok. I'm ready to go. To answer specifically your question, I wandered into the weeds there for a bit. I met the devotees when I was 15, and I had no idea what they were. I thought it was hippies that took a lot of LSD, shaved their head, and got in a woman's dress. I had no idea. Then they handed me a pamphlet, a small booklet called Who is Crazy? And Krishna, the Reservoir of Pleasure. And I read that and I reread it, and it said, Prabhupada wrote, if you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, your life will be sublime. And I just thought, well, wow, that's very simple. You just, the 16-word mantra, and you chant this mantra, your life will be sublime. So that's a tall order. So I lived alone, with my mother, in a house on the edge of Lake Ontario. And I didn't have anything to do. It was a rural area. So I just chanted Hare Krishna. And I'm like 14, 15. I chanted Hare Krishna all day, all night for a long time, months on months. And I had spiritual experiences there, which defy description. They actually don't if you're a devotee. But if you're just a normal knick-knack, paddywhack, you're not going to, what the hell was that? Some kind of, but yeah, I've had experiences. So I met the devotees in 1970. I became a formal disciple. I took Diksha, Harinam Diksha from A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, and I have been on this path ever since. Now, I'm no great devotee. In fact, you know, I've been on this path of bhakti for over 50 years, but I still refer to myself as a Kanista Adhikari, which means a beginner. So I am very delighted to be a devotee of Krishna, and it has illumined my life from within, and it colors everything that happens to me beautifully. So when I become some sort of movie, I'm not going to use that word star, but okay, I'll use the word star, some kind of movie star, then it becomes, oh, this is Krishna's mercy. Now you can talk about the movies if you want.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Since you mentioned movies, maybe we'll start with the Squid
We could mention movies in here. Might be a good idea.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of things to offer on the spiritual path, I'm sure. So that's great to hear. So maybe I'll go back a little bit to your more recent engagement, especially with the Squid Game that you've just played.
Well, why don't I tell you how I got Squid Game?
Yes.
As an actor, I'm kind of based in Bangkok. So I do movies in India. I do movies in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I do movies in Japan. I did movies in China. And I got a call about 2.5 years ago, to 3 years ago, maybe now, to do a movie called Train to Busan Presents Peninsula, which you can see right now on Netflix. And the first guy you see out, okay, first of all, I always play the bad guy. Always. I've never played a good guy. It's so much fun to play the bad guy. You know, I just love it. So anyway, I play what I always play, a big mafia guy, big hotshot mafia guy. And the director saw that movie. And you guys can watch that movie, Peninsula. It's on Netflix right now. Just go to it and you'll see me there. And I'm very happy with that role. That role is the kind of acting I love to do, which is naturalistic acting. This movie that I just did, Squid Game, is a caricature. And it's exactly like the movie Clockwork Orange with Stanley Kubrick, where the every character is exaggerated, is cartoonish. That is not it's a very valid form, but it's not, I don't toil in that vineyard very much. Generally speaking, I'm a subdued, I know that's hard to believe, I'm a subdued, softly spoken, naturalistic character actor. The director saw me in Peninsula and cast me into Squid Game. I didn't know it was going to be a hit. In fact, I had some clues, like they paid me a large amount of money. And I thought, why so much more money than normal, you know? And I have earned a respectable amount of money, but this was way more than that. So I thought, no, that's weird. You know, I wonder it's just another Netflix thing. It can't be too big a deal. And then I got to Korea and they took me to the set and it was like the Astrodome in Houston. It was like this huge set, you know, that was like way too opulent to be any kind of normal film that I've made before. Usually they film on location in some seedy hotel or, you know, some alleyway or something. This was some huge, beautiful thing. So I thought, wow. I mean, they had like when you first see me coming down the hall, they had all this molded plastic on the wall, which they had to actually make that and fabricate this wall block futuristic design thing that was there. So it was astounding set and too much money. So I thought, what the hell is going on here? Then I got there and they said, so are you ready for your big scene tomorrow, Mr. Giuliano? And I said, yes, I am. And they said, great. So we'll have someone there when you take your clothes off. I said, excuse me? You know, when you take your clothes off in the scene and you're naked. I said, no, I don't know about that. What are you talking about? And they said, have you read the script? And I said, well, I have to admit, I've been really busy. I was doing this movie, Kate, with Woody Harrelson. No, I haven't really read the script. I just did the casting tape. And, well, Mr. Giuliano, you should have, my goodness me, you should have read the script. Yes, it's right here. So I looked and it said, he takes off all of his clothes, full frontal. What do you mean full frontal? I'm not doing any full frontal. Well, Mr. Giuliano, you've signed the contract. And I said, well, all right, look, I will take off something, but it's not going to be any full frontal. Why would you want to inflict that upon the audience? So we negotiated that point. And it turned out to be my butt, you know, and thank God. I mean, that's enough trauma for people around the world. People in 190 countries have seen my butt, and that can't be a good thing for anybody. Anyway, so I went and I did the movie, and still I thought, yeah, it's a Netflix series. And then it became Beatlemania. And I become some sort of famous. If you look at my Internet Movie Database profile, which actors do, it went like this, and then it went like that. In fact, right now, I went from being sort of the 300,000th most popular actor on the planet to being the 1500th most popular film actor on the planet. Now think of how many actors there are in Bollywood, how many there are in Hollywood, how many there are in London. There's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of actors. It still sounds like a lot if you're not in the business, but I'm 1,500. That means, by definition, that casting directors around the world will be going, well, you got to get this guy. In fact, I got an offer. I got 3 offers on the table right now.
Before Squid Game started, you had an unexpected experience when you traveled to India with your son,
Yes.
where we heard that you were stranded in Jaipur, just in the first phase of
Vrindavan, Vrindavan, and Jaipur.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about that experience and what you took away from that experience?
Well, here's what, whenever I go to Bharatvarsh, the mother India, this is where this is the portal from heaven. India is the portal of heaven. And I'm always feel very blessed to go there and can't wait to go back again. Anyway, I said to my son, now, many ISKCON people but they indoctrinate their children in Krishna consciousness. I couldn't quite do that with my son. I felt that he should choose his own way. For instance, he's a very strict vegetarian, but I never told him to be a vegetarian. He found his own way there.
That's nice.
And I wanted my son, if possible, let me share my beautiful Krishna consciousness with you, my bhakti yoga, but I won't force you to this. But I thought, okay, now he's 12. It's time to take him to India, to Vrindavan, and let him see the sadhus, let him see the widows dying on the road. Let him see the monkeys, let him see Vrindavan. So I took him to Vrindavan, and we were only going for 2 weeks. I picked $2,000 and put it in my pocket, but for some reason I didn't bring my ATM or credit card. So we were there.
$2,000 US, right?
$2,000 US for 2 weeks, which is plenty in Vrindavan. Okay.
Yeah.
So I stayed at the MVT with ISKCON, beautiful place. Everyone in ISKCON knows Jagannatha. So I have all my friends there. So, okay, cool. So Modi, in his wisdom, immediately closed the country and stopped the airports. It was like, hey, give me 3 days and I'll get to Delhi and go home. Didn't work like that. Closed from COVID. So we were there turned out to be 6 months. Now, we couldn't go to America because Eden didn't bring his American passport and they wouldn't admit him. And I couldn't go to Thailand because there was no plane to Thailand. And I was overstaying my visa in India. So I had no country to go to. We wore the same clothes imagine 2 weeks of clothing for 6 months. So the shirt, I would wash it, but it was still dirty. And the jeans were just falling off my son, almost disintegrating. But this was really good because I'm have been a very puffed up, egotistical person. And this knocked me down a peg or two. It made me realize that you had to be grateful for what I had many realizations. So it was a wonderful teaching experience, as Mother India always is. And, Indians, sometimes they're just intrigued by the fact that Westerners could be so involved with Sanskrit and Vedic philosophy and, bhakti yoga and Shastra and the arti and deity worship, all these things, or the japa yoga, all these things, wow, and many times they say, oh, you know more than me, because there is in India, I've noticed, in what I call secular Indians, which are very progressive, very modern. Some of them are atheists, which is fine. I don't run around trying to box people in the ears because they don't believe the same as me. But I know what works for me. And my son now has, just a minute. Eden, I'll show you. Eden, come here. Show India your haircut.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, he's got the Sika. Okay,
oh my, very impressive.
so he's got the Sika. Anyway, there's no end to the depth of Vedic philosophy. There's no end. It goes right back as far as into time immemorial.
So, but when you were in India,
good
were
way.
you supported by anyone? Like, did people help you that got you through those 6 months?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So people sent me money on PayPal because the story came out in the media and it went viral. It's a good story. And, the old man with a little boy doesn't have a country, can't go to America, can't stay in India, and can't go home, to Thailand. What do they do? And plus, I'm this kind of like, I've written 32 books and I'm this sort of respected guy. And I'm here, but because of my background in ISKCON, it wasn't a difficulty for me to sleep in an ashram floor. It was fine. And eat, what did we eat? Dal and rice and what my friends call beggar halava. You make it with milk and butter? No, we make it with water, you idiot. Who do you think you are? So we would actually go to the temple and stand in line I felt bad about it, with the widows of Vrindavan, and we'd have our little bucket, and they'd put in a little dal and a little rice and, and halava and sweet rice, kheer, and they mix it all together in Vrindavan, so it's better that way. Just put your hand in there and mix it all together. Really? So, I wrote a poem a few years ago, and I said, we are all, in Vrindavan, you see every morning, the old people, they line up at the temple to get some little bit of money or some food, banana, this and that. And someone said to me, I said, listen, man, we're all beggars at the gates of the temple. We're in the same boat, Don't think because of your fancy externals of your education, of your this and that we are, and these are actually more pure. When I go to Vrindavan, I spend a lot of time with beggars. I learn a lot from beggars, and they're cute and they're beautiful and they're so simple and they're like children, Krishna's children. And it's really, really enchanting. I'm sorry, I'm sure I've wandered into the weeds yet again. You may ask me another question.
Yeah, it must have been a very humbling experience. But I'm curious, is that what drew you? Recently, you announced that you are going to auction off the robes and the script storyboard that you used in Squid Game and donate it to charity. And I heard
I have a charity called the Vrindavan Widows and Children Fund. When I understood that the widows of West Bengal, after the husband dies, are often booted out of the house, all of their things are taken, and the sons are just cold to them, and sometimes they just throw them into the street. Well, they go to Radha Kund, and they go to Vrindavan, and I've seen them. I've been there with them. I've sung kirtan with them, and so have my children. And they're lovely, lovely people. And they sometimes die, And, I had an experience in Vrindavan where there was a woman, she was very old. I had a big garland on and a big silk, chadar and a big nice vest and a nice kurta, and I had gold on there and this and that. And I looked over, and there was an old beggar woman, and she was just doing dandavat pranam to me in the train station of Mathura with spit and dirt and filth, and it was like a machete to my heart that I became, oh, you're so puffed up, Jagannatha. Look at this woman. Who is she bowing down to? You're not worthy of anyone to bow down to you, let alone this pure soul, this gopi in the body of an old crone, all bent over the way they are. And I was so shattered by that. It was a life-changing, just that simple thing. And that's how India teaches you. So if somebody would say, that old lady is some nut, she's on the train station, get up, and when she stood up, she had a white sari on, she had all this filth on her sari, and she just like this, and she just walked away. So these are the things that, it's very difficult when you're in the line of bhakti. It's difficult to be puffed up. And it's, of course, in my profession, that's part of it. We operate like ego is the kind of fuel to make the car go. You have to be very confident, but confident is different than ego. I know how to act in movies, okay? Whatever this thing is, whatever this little trick is that I've been able to figure out in life. I know how to do it. I know exactly how Robert De Niro does it. I know how Al Pacino does it. I know how the Meryl Streep does it. I understand I know how to do this. Not everybody knows how to do it. To me, it doesn't seem like a big deal because I know how to do it. But if I was in Cirque du Soleil up on the high wire, probably that guy thinks, it's not a big deal. I'm just walking on the wire here. Everybody, why can't everybody do this? But apparently it is some kind of wonderful thing, to be a competent actor. And it's something I've picked up along the way, and now I apply it in my profession for my livelihood. But when I make money, I think, oh, well, I have some money. Maybe I'll go to Vrindavan and just feed some of the widows in Radhakund in memory of my late wife. Or maybe my son is learning harmonium now, maybe. So I try to use it in a good way.
That is wonderful to hear. G, thank you so much. We'd like to kind of wrap up this interview by asking.
What? We don't have another 2 or 3 hours? I'm just getting started, man.
I'd love to get more of you.
Let's
go. This has been amazing just to hear your journey and your experiences in India and how you kind of use that to define your life.
Okay, well, let me just say, if we don't have much time, everybody in the material world, everybody suffers from birth, death, disease, and old age. The real problems of our life are fundamentally attached to that. One should at least try to use some of their time and energy to try and find some kind of satisfactory answer to these seminal troubles which ruin everything. So that would be the thing I would want to say to people in India, my country. I'm much more Jagannatha Das than I am Geoffrey Giuliano. Geoffrey's way, where are you doing? Come on, get up here. Giuliano's lagging behind somewhere. I am Jagannatha Das. So I got to feel that the people in India will think he's a lunatic, but I like what he's saying. Oh, no, there'll be some impact of this show for sure. This is not your average show, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, thank you so much. I mean, what a profound experience and I think what profound wisdom that's given to you is what I'm seeing through this interview. I really appreciate everything you're doing, sharing your experiences with people, but also going back to India, trying to also support the widows and the charity that you're running. So I don't think we can get enough of you. So hopefully we'll see you in a Bollywood movie.
Anytime. I'm full of beans. I'm open 24/7, 365, just like 7-Eleven.
சுவையான பல தகவல்களுக்கு இணைந்திருங்கள் வாகை வனத்தோடு. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.